Welcome to First Geek Congregation. This is the first time you've ever been watching. We'll start off with, it's really blurry, and I apologize. Our software and our camera and our laptop are not all behaving together. Might be something to do with the Windows 10 upgrade, which, you know, Windows 10 is the devil. Yes. So if you're watching this and I'm a little blurry, no, I'm not normally blurry like this. Anyways, welcome to First Geek Congregation. If you haven't watched this before, well, we're geeks and we do religion of some sort. We're mostly Christian, but on the other hand, we discuss all sorts of religions, and even our Christianity tends to be from some very odd viewpoints because we're geeks. So, if you've never watched before, we're at the Center of Wichita, which is the local LGBT community gathering center. They've got meeting rooms. It's a really cool place. They've also got some programs here that there just would be no way for them to exist without a place like the Center of Wichita. For instance, the Get Connected program, which brings teens together who are in the LGBT community and gives them a place to a safe place to talk about it. It's, you know, society is in a transition phase when it comes to the whole LGBT concepts. So there's a lot of danger for them still at school, in the world at large. So this is a great place for them to be. It's at 800 North Market. And while we're at an LGBT center, we're not an LGBT church, because we're not even a church anyways. It's considered a congregation. A church is a nice building. A congregation is people. But we're not an LGBT group. We just like everybody, or just like everybody, same level. We don't care what your background is or what your beliefs are. You're welcome here, and you're welcome to discuss everything. The only thing we ask is for peace, love, and respect. So let's jump into it. First off, who has candidates for best or worst religious story of the week? Since I know it's been 3 weeks and there's a whole lot of potential fodder, but
I gave you mine.
cool, you got to say it out.
I have to say it out, and I forgot about it. That's why I sent it to you, so I wouldn't forget it.
Well, see, now you can just pull it out.
Because you know it only goes back so far. So I don't know where to get it from.
You said
I like it either.
you sent it in a message.
No, I sent it.
Oh, I vaguely recall.
Maybe you were supposed to like it so I could find it faster.
Oh, so it's my fault now.
Sure. I agree.
Let me get this straight. You have all the technology available to you.
I only have this
article.
I only have this.
They got a link that says save.
Little extra fingertips. Yeah, you gotta like something.
Great, and there is no way I will find it on my timeline.
Okay.
There is no way. That's almost 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Ted Cruz tells group only way to save the U.S. is by turning it into a theocracy.
Which would, by definition, destroy the U.S. Because I don't know if you know,
There's
but
this document.
there's this thing called the Constitution that separation of church and state. So if you make it a theocracy, there's no separation of church of state, which takes one of the core tenets of that whole document and kind of wads it up and puts it in the trash. That doesn't work for me. I don't know about everybody else. Plus, whose theocracy is it going to be? Because you could say, as a Christian, you know, let's go for the obvious, as a Christian theocracy. Okay, who's Christianity? Because there's more than one. So is it Ted Cruz's Christianity, or who are we talking here? I really need to know before I can vote on this issue.
They talk about, religious-based laws and Bible-based laws, and I'm like, how about Sharia? Sharia. And I just say, no.
Well, but that's not Bible-based. That's Quran-based.
Well, they're not
Marshall,
following the
you're
Bible
obviously
anyway
missing the
because
point.
they're not loving their neighbors, or they stop trying to lord it over them. So,
Hey, I'm looking forward to the weekly stonings, you know? Take them all to the city gates. I mean, we have to put in city gates on every city.
Yes, Red Lobster will have to close.
Yes, that is the end of Red Lobster.
Oh,
the apocalyptic end of Red Lobster. Sorry.
You're in jail for
You know,
traveling.
the kicker is I've been expecting the end of Red Lobster for a long time.
It's an abomination. They'd probably kill you.
1 month per shrimp.
Oh, jeez.
now I'm just imagining this. Doing those poor lobsters. Lobsters running for back of the tank. No! Just cook us.
The problem I've got with this is, you know, and the headline is Ted Cruz tells hate group the only way to save the U.S. is by turning it into a theocracy.
AFA.
You know, it's funny that you mentioned the AFA because we're actually going to be mentioning them again here shortly.
Because that's the group who we were talking about.
American.
Talking to. That's my Americans.
The American Family Association.
It's such a vague name, isn't it?
Well, that's the point. It's the name. I can tell you the name was picked very specifically, just like similar names like Focus on the Family.
Yeah.
They're supposed to sound like positive.
Patriotic
Who's that?
bullshit.
Yes.
Glittering generality.
I mean, you could create these names by simply putting certain terms in a freaking blender, shake it, you know, and pick out the top 4 words, 3 or 4 words that come out, and you'd have as meaningful names of these. The names are built almost entirely upon focus groups. They're not like, hey, Bob and Tom got together and thought, you know, we need a group that that denounces women. So what are we gonna call it? Well, I like Mangate. Well, we can't call it that. How about the American Association of Real Men?
Love man here.
And tears. I like that. And then they run these things by focus groups to see what the reaction is. It's not. I mean, it's these groups are literally done in a very corporate fashion. It's amazing how much effort goes into the simplest little.
Branding.
Yes. Everything, including the logos. Can't have rainbows in the logo anymore. That might be gay. Does not matter how long rainbows have been around. That might be gay. Just
How crazy is it when it's ball?
Yeah, well, I've seen stories where Christians freak
I know this. I have not seen his logo. You know how many of those?
This is the symbol.
I didn't realize Trump had a logo besides his hair.
Well,
Back in the days where they, Dang, you created that one. Come on, you created that one.
And then he took it and ran with it.
That is
But yeah, it's crazy.
that is insane. The idea that somehow that anything that he just said makes sense. And actually, it makes me question because it says to the AFA, does he actually believe that, or is he just?
Did you listen to the speech he gave at Liberty College?
No. Do you know what I try not to do?
Listen to papers.
You know why? I value my brains.
Well,
I like them not dribbling out my ears.
I did it just to see whether he was being slandered or not, because we have to care whether people are slandering. If he's not being slandered, he is full of it. He is totally going to the mouth.
Well, my thing about a lot of these guys that are running this time is that they're running specifically to the right-wing Christian element. It can't even try. So what?
No, it will.
It can. Unfortunately, it can't work.
Because he's telling the 40,000 evangelicals that are staying home or voting for the enemy to vote for godly men, or else God's going to deny you before his Father. Jesus is going to deny him before his Father.
And he's actually not, he's not exaggerating with what was said.
Yeah.
That really was said.
And it's like, they're voting for the wrong godly person. They're voting for the secular person who believes that each person should have his own mind made up of what he believes, rather than let's vote for the godly Christian person who's going to bring
The one that God told them to run.
yeah.
Which one?
Yeah.
There's six now.
Yeah, 6.
There's 6 now. Which one?
But we are starting to see them fall. Some of them are starting to be
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
God shed weight between people.
well, how big Trump is and Christie, and between the two of them, that's a lot of weight to be moving around. Of course, Trump buys his own gas.
Right.
Well, and according to him, he buys the gas for the other candidates too. So, I will admit that was the funniest thing out of the first debate was him saying on stage in front of the rest of the candidates that he had all bought them at one time or another. Whoa! And what did the rest of those guys say? Only one person had anything to say about it. Which was, by the way, yeah, you contributed more to Hillary than you did to my campaign. How awesome of a comeback was that? She's just going to go with it. Might as well just. We are going to do one on the candidates eventually. I'm not ready to do it yet.
Again, there's too many yet.
There's too many of them. I don't want to pull Fox 2. I don't want to say, you know what, only you 10. Plus for me.
The real ones.
So,
people in here.
do we have any more contributions to? Because otherwise, Kim will disappoint. Okay, Kim will disappoint.
Too easy.
You know, that's like a whole lot of crazy. Whole lot of crazy in one human being who's running for president. It's not fair.
It's so smart.
You're supposed to spread the crazy around.
Someone like him go first to the buffet and everyone just watching horror. He fills his plate and crazy.
Anyway, calm down on the crazy. It's a sign of sanity. Yeah, you're getting this cheesesteak cake instead, aren't you? Oh, they're crazy. Side opening cheese. Okay, so let's get on to the actual topic. Lucifer. No, we are not doing an episode on how the devil managed to do it, or how we were tempted continuously by House of Time, or anything like that. Actually, what this is. So what?
What the details?
The details? You know, they say the devil's in the details, but I think it's usually important. Lucifer is an interesting topic in Christianity because as you go through time and you look at it, this idea has changed radically, including how much influence there is and everything else. The idea of who, what, where, when, why changes with time, including all the way down to modern day, having multiple interpretations. And I bring this up for a reason. In fact, what brought this about was Fox, not Fox News, Fox is going to be showing a show called Lucifer. Now, has anybody read Sandman? Like, seriously, a bunch of geeks, nobody read Sandman?
I'm not rich enough.
Fair enough.
If you were talking about X-Men,
I don't
Deadpool, Worlds, or
Really? Well, now I got nothing. I'm screwed now. Sandman is actually a very classic comic book that one of the characters who gets introduced in it is Lucifer. And Lucifer actually ends up getting a spin-off. Somewhere along the lines, somebody at Fox thought, hey, you know what would be an awesome show? Lucifer. And Lucifer is basically a not quite anti-hero. Not a good guy.
Milton's version of it.
Actually, Neil Gaiman, his interpretation is even a little more different than Milton's. So there's even more weirdness with the character. Well, needless to say, the minute I say that Fox is going to show a TV show called Lucifer, can anybody guess what happens?
Everybody lost their interest.
No, I'm not canceled. But the petition. There's a petition.
We must stop this broadcasting.
Just like we're trying to stop Cosmos from marriage.
We don't agree with that. You know, here's the thing. I can at least, I'm not going to say I defend the petition. I don't. You're idiots. But at least there's something tangentially there. Cosmos, there's no connection. There's no connection. Oh, how dare you? We're going to run a series about the beginning of the evolution of the universe, but we are here to do that, and we are going to show a series on biblical creation. Well, you know what? I'm sure Kim Ham would love to do it. I'm there. As soon as he's done building off,
With taxpayers' money. A lot of money going to feed people. It's going to feed people, but no, he is building a local government arc that could never possibly fail. That can save.
You know what? The best representation of arc of the arc was actually in the movie Noah. I have a hard time saying that because there's nothing good about that movie. But it was actually probably the best representation yet. For some reason, everybody wants to make it this big bowed boat. And etc. There's
want everything to be big.
We'll scale it up and look like a movie.
But at no point in the description given keel depth or anything else. Because there's directions on how to build it, how long, how tall, how wide. At no point does it say, by the way, your bow needs to be X number deep, it needs to be, no.
No. Pitch, don't do that.
No. It's a big freaking box that floats. Yeah, everybody has to go with one, which, by the way, goes on with this. Because even as a kid, we all saw somewhere the old books and the story of Noah
And the toys.
and the toys. I never had the toys.
I had no toys. I had like 5 or 6 of them.
That actually creeps me out a little bit.
My family went to the Mariposa for my religiously.
Well, they're religious. Okay. Kind of goes with it. My family was not religious, so was I only ever got religious toys.
I didn't even realize there were religious toys.
Yeah.
That's a serious thing.
Oh, yeah, I didn't know about bathrobe toys.
Oh, praise Jesus. It's commercial. Going to perfect peace sometime.
We gotta get the Noah figures and the Moses action figure with Kung Fu grip.
Yeah, I learned that the Noah Mark song. I always thought they would say no on, but the arch. I was
We know the art.
Talking about Lucifer, I'll go up.
How did that work again? Noah's over there. Why don't we talk about it? So, but then actually it's a great example of reinterpretation because we were only given a small amount of data, a very small amount of data in the Bible, and yet we draw a picture of something, and I would say completely different, but not really quite like what the Bible described.
Bigger, that's more depth, a bit more animals on it. They have to. Some of it's not timeless technology.
It's not bigger on the inside. There's what?
But it was no
No, it didn't go in the brunch.
with the legs.
Well, you know, they had 7 of the clean animals that they could eat during that year.
Set?
Yeah, because you had moving time that were unclean, but then the clean animals you had 7.
Uh-oh. Seriously? Oh my goodness. Whole toy sets of Noah's Ark.
Yeah.
You know what I never had? I obviously was deprived of my childhood because I never had that. So, I was abused growing up.
What's the statute of limitations on not getting to know what our toy set?
Those are rubber duckies. Oh, those are awesome. Those are awesome. Okay, to explain why those are awesome, ex-wife and I used to collect rubber duckies of all sorts. So everything from Wolverine Army and rubber duckies to actually the whole fascination started when we were looking for the cake topper, and I found the rubber duckies. We found the duckies in a wedding dress. We gotta have those. We can't have those. Okay. Wait, we should have those. Okay. So, yes, there are many, many rubber duckies. However, having gone from Noah to rubber duckies, this is still not our topic.
And it was a big float. I don't have to get in the ark.
Oh, burn. They all float down here.
You have blown my mind, sir. This is not right. The devil loves
Here.
That vampire rules you put overboard in Bible.
By the way, Neil Gaiman had some great things to say about this petition. That is not Neil Gaiman.
Well, you're not supposed to speak it for down.
And it just showed up. There's Caitlin right there. Sorry, Caitlin. Actually, it's more like Margaret.
Which one is it?
All around. Which brings the first
You know who to play by.
The first one. Okay. So we all use synonymously. I don't use the term very often. How many times have I talked about how Satan tempts us? Oh, none. Because it's not that I don't believe in the idea. It's that this all stems from a word in Hebrew. So
Whenever you're supposed to start writing from left, right to left, right?
Hey! Read that.
there, are you happy?
No, it's in English. I thought it was right in Hebrew.
No. You know what? There is absolutely no reason to write anything in Hebrew on this board. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to write it up here, and everybody's going to look at it and go, how do you say How do you say that? So there's really no point in me writing in Hebrew up here. And I can just make it, honestly, I can just make it out really go. Because there's only one guy in the room who's not in Hebrew as far.
And we don't know if you're spelling it wrong. Cat would at least spell you if you're spelling it wrong.
That's true. That's true. We do not have anybody here to verify me.
No.
Squiggles,
Squiggles.
trying to get across that we don't know what it says. So, so he's telling us
No, Hebrew. Yiddish is a subset of Hebrew with German and a number of others. Anyways. I can offer you a asylum.
Choose to Terry Snow. That's my order. What? It's so good. Those wobble but they don't sink.
People wobble, they don't sink.
Oh, hey. No, sorry.
Oh, cool.
Let's see.
I got that in the first shot.
Two
Okay.
animals stuck together.
This is actually 2 words. Ha in Hebrew is basically just the
Adversary?
what?
Was it the adversary?
Yes. Well, actually, here's the thing about it. You actually hear people translate it as this is the adversary.
Yeah.
Actually, it can be translated more than one way. Most Hebrew words had multiple meanings, and context was kind of important.
Was it an accuser, one of the other options?
Yes. Accuser, challenger.
Does it actually mean like prosecutor in court? Or is that just associated over this?
That's some people's interpretation of it, which makes it very interesting. The story of Job, for instance.
Yeah.
It makes it more interesting to read Job if suddenly
Satan's hanging out with God going, I'm going back and forth on the earth.
and it boils down to suddenly instead of just being this evil creature who attacks Job and all this good stuff, no, it's the prosecuting attorney trying to prove his point. Suddenly that story gets a lot different.
Yeah.
Way different. Yes, Marshall?
Just searches for Noah's Ark, and that's like the greatest collection of images pulled up for Noah's Ark.
Why? Why?
T-Rex and a guy with no shirt and a monkey and a coat.
Google image search has failed you, sir. So,
I was 3, okay? And 4 and 5.
so anyways, the term actually gets kind of interesting because we're just going to go with the adversary. But the term actually isn't a person's name. It is not like an individual. Instead, that could have been applied to any number of other gods, other beings, other humans. The adversary could even be ourselves. But instead, somehow, for the march of time, we end up with it being this guy, which is what we're going to explore a little more. But I forgot to say one of the groups that has a petition against the Lucifer show is the American Family Association. They have 120,000 people who have signed this.
Because I don't want the influence of the anti-Bible to be in there in society. That just blows my mind.
Of all things, I would think that would be the least of their problems. That Lucifer would be the least of their problems that they would have with society. In fact, really, if they're an AFA member, they should take the television and just take it outside and throw it away. Because there's
Or Because as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. Not we will make society serve the Lord. But that's their thinking, is that everyone has to follow their dogma.
The idea of a minimum morality exists with their, and they're not the only group by any means. By no means are they the only group. The idea of a minimum moral standard that has to be followed based on their religion.
They think that no one, that if another person doesn't believe in God, nothing can be good from them.
And I got a pope that says different.
I'm still trying to figure out a way to, because they won't listen to the Pope.
Well, and that's
because they're Protestant.
You know, they've had their own people throughout history who have said very similar things.
Oh yeah, Franklin Graham, the one that said that we need to put Muslims in internment camps like we did in World War II, was my other contestant for winning your.
Oh yes, I forgot about that one. What a beautiful idea. Let's just take a bunch of people.
And we can throw Mexicans in there too because, well, they look like them.
What did you say? I could swear I heard words coming in my ears, and they couldn't possibly be that dumb.
Actually, you should lower your expectations.
There are those that
you will spend all of your time saying that they couldn't possibly be that dumb. Every time you turn around, the bar gets set low.
Yeah, this goes back to the thing of whether or not I actually believe the candidates believe the things they are saying.
Well, never believe the titles. Always read the articles and check on links and stuff because everything's kind of.
I agree with that.
Thin.
I mean, it's like a lot of the Trump stuff. Well, Trump said this, Trump said that.
Let's hear
Let's
it.
go. This pains me to do.
You have to do it as a self-sacrificing act to make sure you're not slandering someone.
But there are certain people I will not even bother with. They're literally that.
Well, after you see a few of them and you're like, yep, that lines up with what they previously said.
But a lot of these guys, what they're doing is playing to an audience. The win is more important than any belief. Take that however you want, but that's what I think about these guys. I think a lot of the stuff that they spew, that I don't really necessarily believe it. Anyways, back to this. There's actually a couple of other definitions that the word add to distraction, difficulty, challenger is the word Satan. So the challenger, the origin of difficulties, the any number of things actually are possible. The adversary is how it ends up getting translated into a lot of people's English nowadays. But it doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't necessarily mean that one term. It can be a number of other things. So we start with just a nebulous term. It doesn't necessarily mean a specific person. We have a number of places in the Old Testament that the adversary is brought up. Later on, when you get to the Greek, then you end up with Satan rather than Hasatan during the translation and the translation of that, so translation of English. But somewhere along the line, and I can't find where, this quit being Hasatan as a concept and became Satan as a proper name. Now I've laid out that and
do we want to throw in Morning Star?
well, we've already said it.
I didn't hear that.
Well, no, that's what that means.
Isn't that in Latin?
I mean, this
Something like that?
this is actually Latin. Morning Star, Morning Light. There's actually a couple of translations as to what the original in Isaiah is right.
But then they also call Christ the one.
Well, and also, well, also keep in mind there's no set parallels here. And while this is maybe fun, there's a couple of set of parallels between some of the descriptions for Lucifer / Hasatan and Comparative, things like that. In Christ, both of them being sons of God, both of them being etc. Yeah, that's a form of heresy that would be controlled in some places, I think. Everybody has I'm not too worried about these things. We're not Oklahoma, so we're fine. So what? Yes, who said Bruce is a biblical scholar? I'm particularly a biblical scholar. But okay, here we go. This is one. Which the problem I had with the bacon on the guns. My biggest problem, surprisingly, was that it wasn't an original. You know, if you're going to go out and do something to get something. Man, I remember seeing that video 4 years ago of somebody cooking bacon on their freaking guns. Okay? I mean, come on. At least do something. Don't just copy. Be new. I just think some respect for guns and everything's all like, oh, absolutely. A whole new tool. But here he is, like, yeah. No, I would never do that. I could not do that. Well, one, it's bacon. I'm not going to eat bacon. So I'd be wasting food at that point. Two, why would I get all that oil on my gun? No, use a specific oil on the gun. No, use bacon grease. Yeah, not bacon grease, my oil.
Bacon grease.
Bacon is the party from the world. All gone is with the gun.
Okay.
You're welcome. I'm going to go back. You're welcome to the email.
Here we go.
Distraction, you say.
Yes, distraction. I believe we have found this room's adversary.
It's the whiteboard.
Actually, this is actually taken good. It's kind of fun to do sometimes the research. Is the thing I don't run into very often is the Messianic Judaism sort of view on a lot of stuff, because I either get Jewish or Christian or sometimes Muslims, which, let me tell you, researching the Muslim concept of Lucifer / the devil / etc. is a little hard, because apparently, I don't know if you know this, there's a whole lot of people who believe that Muhammad is actually the adversary, and that everybody is anyways. Yeah, so every time I tried to search for this area, what I found was U.S. fundamental Christians saying how bad Islam is, and that actually it's the devil and Muhammad, and etc.
You know, I think this would be a very hard thing to research just because that gets thrown around for everybody. It's like trying to look up the Antichrist. Everybody's the Antichrist.
Well, the kicker is, as I was researching this, some of this stuff, because it's, as you can imagine, I tried not to get the furthest out viewpoints, because let me tell you, the number of people who have written entire web pages and pages and pages about how, say, Seventh-day Adventists are absolutely wrong and evil because they follow this particular interpretation of who Satan is. It's pretty high in there. The problem with the internet is it gives everybody a voice. There's some of us who shouldn't speak. And they have not chose that option. So Google has provided me with multiple forms of insanity and entertainment in the last, because I came, the idea of this actually came up last night at about 2 a.m. So, yeah, it's not right. No, actually, truth be some of the research was already stuff ahead.
You're saying that like you're going to look up and say, how do you live like Egypt?
Actually, he was here before I was, too. He could verify. Like 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I don't know what. Okay. I'm actually stealing this. I'm just stealing the entire thing. The name Hasatan in the Hebrew language means the accuser of the one who opposes. In Judaism, Hasatan is an angel accuser, tempter, and prosecuting eternity.
Wow.
So apparently we did find out. Or adversary. The word is not a name or title, it's a noun. The word describes what the entity does. He is an adversary or opposing force to the children of Israel and at times the servants of Yahweh. Yet, Hasatan is nothing more than the servant of Yahweh under his command, as his angels are. In the Hebrew Tanakh, all the Old Testament, the term Hasatan and adversary mean exactly the same thing. Okay, I actually take exception because actually it doesn't necessarily mean the same thing every time. The term Hasatan and adversary are mentioned 24 times in the Old Testament. Out of those 24 times, references, only 5 are specific references to the angelic entity Hasatan. Twice Hasatan is mentioned in Balaam's ass story, which is this sounds horrible. They have a walking down the street and
It's okay. It's not as bad as it sounds. It's terrible, but it's not that bad.
Those are jackassery.
It's a donkey. It's an animal.
I would be quiet.
But just randomly his ass story. That's how we do that.
It really does. Because and I read this page. I read all this page. And when I read it, it didn't really stick out at me. But when I said
Yeah.
I'm imagining a center.
well, the angel of the Lord, God himself, is defined as an adversary or physical block to Balaam's journey. So, one of our first references is actually of God being called the adversary. Interesting. Later, the angel of the Lord specifically identifies himself by claiming to be an adversary, again using the term Satan. First Chronicles 21:1. Wow. Hasatan incites David to conduct an unlawful census. Number 4 is the 4th time is in the book of Job, chapter 1, and the 5th and last mention is Zechariah 3:1, which I certainly don't remember what that is.
You gotta remember that the Bible wasn't written chronology-wise, but
Virtual. Yes. But it's not all in order.
no, Job is early.
Well, and when you're talking about the idea of Hasatan and bring up Job, you actually automatically get into a Jewish issue, which is the idea that one, this is an allegory. This is not specific people. This is not specific deity or being. This is either a term that's used or an allegory for certain situations, along with Job not being a literal story in Jewish thought. So it's interesting to tie those two things together because otherwise, if it was a real story, it's an awfully cruel story. It's Zechariah. I got nothing thinking about this. Next I saw Joshua the high priest standing before the angel of the Lord, with Satan standing at his right hand to accuse him. The Lord said to Satan, "May the Lord rebuke you, Satan. May the Lord who has chosen Jerusalem rebuke you. Isn't this man like a burning stick snatched from the fire?" And Joshua was dressed in filthy clothes as he stood before the angel. So I don't even remember the context here. What?
You guys need the text trying to come on.
The argument I received.
No.
It's like hydraulics or something, and out that is manually perched to the.
That is the. What's wrong with the bottom of the boat? Is it sinking? Is it because of Titanic?
Come.
Work with their tent.
Oh, that's weird. That's just weird.
I found one of giant hands bringing out a clock.
And that was supposed to be dark.
The other right.
Oh. Sorry. Okay. So there, it's treated as if it's a specific person, but it never says who it is. Because again, it's a pet, or it's an app. So somewhere along the line, we decided this was a very important term, and we sort of associated it with anything, an evil being, a specific evil being. Which I like that it's the same guy, Lucifer. But if you look at Lucifer, does anybody know who Lucifer actually refers to?
I know that there's a spot where God sent one of the prophets to rebuke the people of Tyre, and it like starts talking about when somebody falls from heaven, like the morning star and all of that. But it's like a parallel to this king that, you know, it's like prideful as
Exactly.
all get out.
Exactly. That's exactly what the verse was about. It was all about one guy who sought to elevate himself literally as more important than the Jewish God. He felt so highly of himself. And the story is just a parable. And it is mentioned the morning star. There's no name given, just the morning star. It felt like the morning star. But no name. The name Lucifer just ends up being derived from one story through a couple of translations, because we ended up with being translated into Latin eventually, just for a while. Before it gets translated into that. And then that becomes a proper name somewhere along the line. I still can't find the direct point where somebody said, yeah, no, that's fine.
But doesn't Jesus talk about the devil? You are from your father the devil or something? When
Talking to the Jews.
yeah, when talking to the Pharisees or somebody, and basically it's a question of whether Jesus is God's child or they think he's, you know, well, he says that they're, you know, father is Satan, basically. That when he speaks lies, he's speaking his native tongue and all of that. So I don't know if he's like quoting one of the parables or something, but I mean, it's very hard to tell with Jesus because he talked in parables all the freaking time. When he actually stopped talking about parables, his disciples are like, holy crap, you're speaking in English, you know, plain language. Not actual English, but plain language. Oh my gosh, they're like,
Oh, yes, and just throw one more spin in it, because there's actually a mention that we end up kind of backdating, even though it's not said as Hasatan, it is generally accepted in Christianity that the snake in the garden.
Oh, I thought it came about with his mouth.
Well, yeah, but it's generally accepted now as being, and you're right, that how do I put it, it became a pop culture reference. But it's pretty much to the point of almost shy of being scripturally accepted that this is who that was, that this is actually Satan. Which gets interesting, because does anybody remember who Satan is and what Satan looks like in Revelations? So,
Wasn't it dragon?
yeah. So apparently, over the course of 5,000 years, 6,000 years, Satan grows up and becomes a dragon. Who also walked the earth as not a dragon at other time periods. So evolved. Pokemon. See, I knew somebody was going to make a Pokemon reference. I knew it.
I was going to say it did evolve, but.
Digimon is just poor idea. And Pokemon's a bad idea too. It's an animal abuse show. Personal cockfighting. You're right. Hasatan, I choose you.
What's this Hasatan look like?
I think he starts on a squirrel. That's just not right. That's not right. Oh wait, Charizard that guy.
He's evolving.
That's, by the way, is one of my poor interpretation of some of the pop culture visualizations of artwork of Satan.
He's a hipster.
It looks like a greaser. So like the Superman hair.
I was thinking more like Zod. Actually, I was thinking more Zod-like, actually. We're going to
Superman society.
Yeah. Neil, there's Zod. Is that more Will Peak, right?
Where's
He
Pikachu?
needs a cake.
Cake or death. Cake or death.
Huh?
Cake or death.
As the gizzard. My roommate has a t-shirt with that. It just has cake, it just has a cake and a skull and 2 check boxes. Love that shirt. Anyways, there's
We'll have a waiter now.
have you not seen any gizzard stuff? No. Okay, let me explain. You're gonna go home after this. You're gonna watch Eddie Izzard.
Who's Eddie Izzard?
No.
I actually don't know.
Seriously?
I've heard the name.
I also do not know. I'm listening.
Oh no. Okay. Eddie Izzard is hilarious to start with.
Give me a context. Is he a comedian?
Yes.
Yes, but he's also been an actor.
He's been in Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Yeah.
The Riches.
Yeah.
Riches and All the Queen's Men.
He was also in Ocean's 13. It was? Yeah, Ocean's 13.
I've at least heard that one.
Um,
I haven't watched it. I've heard it.
the thing is his roles like that, man, I mean, they're all right. His stand-up comedy, particularly his older stand-up comedy, is hilarious. And it's a little shocking because Eddie Izzard's a cross-dresser. So he comes out in an evening gown. And this is not like just an act for his show. This is actually him. So you automatically know this is going to be a little different. And there is a lot of things that me and friends end up quoting. For instance, do you have a flag? It's just horribly important that you watch some of the Eddie Izzard stuff. I'm sorry, it's
I saw a picture of his face. He looks funny.
he does. He is a funny looking guy. He looks a little more normal now. But
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was like a singer or something.
No preacher or something.
Eddie is a preacher.
No.
Well, he does talk about
Honestly,
that.
with no context.
That's true.
For some
Why is he
For some
hilarious?
reason I was
And
thinking
Bruce
of a
is
mixture
hilarious, but he's not
between,
trying.
Some mixture between, like, Alice Cooper and Conway Twitty.
Well, that hurts my head to think about it. Anyway, no, it's check out Eddie Izzard's stuff at some point. It is hilarious, and usually it's on Netflix.
I think I've seen Dressed to Kill on Netflix.
Yeah. Back to this.
Back to Lucifer.
Back to Lucifer. Back to the distraction. This depiction, in particular with the goatee, actually I gave him a mustache, but he doesn't have a mustache in one of the original.
But yeah.
The reason why this
He doesn't deserve a mouse.
Well, he does have kind of that thin,
the thin almost go
yeah.
Curly mustache.
apparently if you didn't know, the Catholics and this guy named Martin Luther had some issues with each other.
Oh,
And one of those great times where somebody used the Bible as a political tool was when they did a woodcut of Martin Luther that appeared in their copy of the Bible. The longer face, the somewhat pulled back hair, happened to be Martin Luther actually. So one of these depictions that we have to this day actually is essentially Martin Luther with horns. Yeah, really cool. You gotta admit that's pretty awesome that somebody could grieve somebody so badly that it lasts centuries. Centuries.
oh my gosh.
I mean, that's pretty incredible.
And that should just go like this on that.
Well, he might have been. If you read the story about the rivalries that went back and forth, he might have done a couple of things to brought that about. So,
And usually Jesus could say that if you don't get everybody's attention and they think that you're crazy, you might be doing something good.
yeah. But the thing about it is up to that point, there had already been depictions of it. But usually, they stole from, for instance, Pan, the goat-legged creature, which is an interesting thing. A lot of, because there's such a lack of mythos for this thing that they're building up as a single entity rather than as a concept, they had to start attributing something to it. So they started stealing ideas from other mythos and other cultures and started applying it. So you end up with this cloven hooves and all that. Where does the cloven hooves appear in the Bible? No, it doesn't. Now, oddly enough, one of the things is that this was an angel.
And then nowadays people are making them and show purple kind of stuff.
All right. I was not aware of the parallels between Barney and Satan, but
Well, the author was Tex Mars, so you kind of get the idea that it was kind of weird anyway.
there's nothing seen about the whole Barney.
I think he's worse than
It is the end time.
So we have now, oddly enough, nowadays we're getting even more depictions in pop culture of Lucifer. And for instance, the show Lucifer, well, the guy doesn't have horns. He doesn't have a goatee anymore. Actually, he's your generic tan-skinned 3-day-old stumble on his face actor. I mean, really. If you get a chance, look up the trailer for it at some point. It looks like something that's going to be run into the ground, unfortunately, very quickly. That's a TV show on Fox.
Yeah. Like Wonderfall and Firefly.
Yeah. Well, the problem with Firefly is it wasn't sucking, so we canceled it. If it sucks, they'll just keep running to the ground. That's the important thing to realize. Don't have a good show on Fox. Only have something that sucks. Then it works out all right. I like to sell that for you. In the term of the devil, because we've got Satan, we know where that came from. We've got Lucifer, which is a translation. Well, actually, both Lucifer are kind of translation. And then we end up with the devil.
Yeah, what is it?
That is a little more interesting in that. Oh, that's not what I'm looking for. Great. Did I not save it? So we'll find it real quick. The devil, because when we say the devil now, Diablos, the Greek. When we say the devil now, it means bad or evil guy, right? No, there's not so much back then when the original term was slanderer or accuser, which isn't too far to jump from where we were over here with the idea of the prosecutor concept or et cetera. The accuser would still fall within that. But yet another term ends up being built up with its own mythos again, kind of merged in there. And with it, ended up getting, you get to the point of Milton and Paradise Lost, and that's where we get our real, so Paradise Lost. Paradise Lost.
If you see the old printing style, they have these S's that are elongated that look like freaking F's. So when he saw the Paradise Lost thing with the F's,
Paradise Lost,
and left that read it as Paradise Lost. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I'm just glad I don't have to see those anymore. And reading some old, writing like that, where you get it without it being translated to modern language, where you actually go through that crap. You don't care about grammar and spelling nearly as much as long as they get generally in the ballpark. Because you're like, yeah, when you read Paradise Lost in the old version, you have to read through text of that. You're like, you're fine, Internet. It's okay, as long as you get close.
Well,
I correctly tell us.
Middle English was Old English was even worse, but Middle English was rather interesting. And of course, we get real awesome letters and things like that, like thorn and stuff like that along the way. That if you try to read some of that old stuff, what is that character? Why? What is it? What does it mean? Yeah, some of those you actually have to look up. I have not studied it. Kat has studied it, and she still has memorized the beginning of Kevin's hymn. And she can recite it on command.
Oh my God.
In Old English.
I believe you.
And it's like, what, are you speaking German? What?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's got roots in German.
Yep. So, this term ends up just coming from, yet again, a long line of translations, because it translates from Diablos, which then goes to German by way of Latin, which then goes to Old English, which then goes to Middle English, which then finally eventually gets here. because every step along the way, it's yet another variation that's still kind of similar. Now, here's a question. Is there ever been anything that actually ties all three of these terms together? Well, you can get these two. Because in reality,
Don't you dare say that.
what? What?
It's pretty silly.
Because, that word, they're just basically what section of the Bible you were reading from and how it was translated.
Mm-hmm.
But Lucifer, there's no tie in it. It's one mention here and one mention there, and pretty much you're done. Never is it said anything specifically. There's been some translations like on that road that they picked up and kind of stole it, walked away with it. But in reality, for some reason, these three things become synonyms, but there's actually no reason why they would. This one right here, we just made this shit up. Really, the tie between the rest of this, we just made it up. Nothing involved. And I mentioned all that. And there's a reason why I think this one. Because this is cool to watch. Because we have taken this one term, and we've turned it into a person. We have turned it into a being, a defined creature who at one time stalked people, stalked innocent people. There's depictions of him walking behind them to murder them. Which, by the way, the devil in that one was pretty cool. That was pre-Pan. So it didn't look like Pan. It looked like a little bit like what we would consider death to look like. The personification of death. To being Pan, to being Martin Luther, to being, now, for instance, an actor who happens to be, sculpted abs and everything else. I don't actually know if the actor has sculpted abs. I haven't checked. I'm not going to either. So we've taken all of this from nothing more than 24 Old Testament mentions and 20 some odd New Testament mentions. All this, little data, and we turned it all into something. But we've also done that.
We like our story.
But we've done it with all facets of Christianity. What does God look like? Oddly enough, he looks like Zeus. Why? Because at some point or another, so what? He does. Because apparently he does. Not supposed to do any.
I think they used plates when they did. See, it used to be a pain in the ass to go ahead and sculpt out all of these illustrations on books. They would do engravings, and to save money, they would reuse plates. So I think they probably reused plates, and that's why we have most of these things.
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah, it was.
Makes sense.
They even did it with artists. Writers' portraits.
Interesting.
But it used to not be as important that you even get the name right of the writer until now.
Oh, I did forget one very important iteration in the history of this guy, this concept, which was Inferno.
Oh, yeah.
Inferno, the Divine Comedy, to which you have Lucifer stuck in ice permanently with 3 heads or 3 faces and chewing on one person. I can't remember who was chewing on because it was politically important who he was chewing on. I can't remember what it was. Because it was part of the whole point behind why this was being written. Was the person in the mouth? I can't remember who the person in the mouth was. Siri, would you look that up for me? I need to answer me now.
Taking our importance from a play is kind of like basing our importance of something on a movie. It's like, well, it was written and then it was expounded on, and there were comic books, and then they made a movie, and by the end we get something completely different.
Absolutely.
Brutus, and Cassius.
Okay. I forgot there was three of them. Thank you. So at one time, that was the mental image what somebody would bring to mind, and actually what the popular artwork at the time portrayed as. Now, one of the reasons I have ever mentioned the whole concept of Satan or the devil or even evil for the most part is because it's also been used as a tool to remove personal responsibility.
What I'm having trouble with reading the Gospels is because everything deals with demon possession. And it's like,
well, and actually, if you want to have a little fun with it, replace demon possession with sickness. And most of the areas that it shows up in, if you just replace it with sickness, then the verse makes a little more sense. It becomes no longer supernatural in the idea that it's caused by something else external. It just becomes, hey, look, Jesus healed the sick. It actually becomes more reasonable. I know this sounds horrible to say, but it sounds more reasonable when you say it that way. It's like, oh, yeah, okay, he healed sick people. He cast out demons. Like buy into the whole demon thing? I know it's silly to say.
I just replaced all the words demon possession with Chick-fil-A.
There you go. There you go. So he cast Chick-fil-A into the pigs. Made them run off the cliff. That's going to be my favorite takeaway from this one. So Christianity has used this as an excuse of why we're not, at times, why we're not personally responsible. The devil may do it. Is I wish it was a joke. I wish it was a joke. I was tempted by Satan. No, you were tempted by your own urges. Your own urges. And that's why I mentioned that we are also the adversary. Our own selves. If this is the road we want to walk and we do it elsewise, we're just our own adversary. We don't even need an external influence. But yet Christianity requires us to have an excuse. To have an excuse why society would tempt us with these horrible things like bad television. Come on, I know this is one season long and it's going to be the biggest disappointment ever. Because it's based on Neil Gaiman stuff. It can't be any good.
Just going to be a season long, season one commercial for 4-inch Doritos.
Yeah, every episode is going to be. So what? You do that to Doritos.
Caviar on Doritos.
Like the pen, like the pen.
Get behind these things. Yeah. But so if we've taken these little conventions and turned it into cool French Doritos, we've taken it and turned it into such a big deal. What else have we blown out in the Bible? Rapture, hell.
law of Moses,
homosexuality.
Okay. Homosexuality is mentioned way less than homophobia.
Yeah,
Way less.
like the
like
time.
or something.
When you hear people talk about it, you think there's one of the same.
I first took one of the two, you know. No, still a bit more. Hell, homosexuality.
Rapture.
Rapture. What rapture? There's the word rapture ever used. That's right. Growing up is all it comes from. And actually the gathering up. And that, yes. What else? I mean, what else would blown up? Potentially, and I'm not going to say they are blown up for abortion or not. That's for each person to decide. I look at this list already and go, yeah, this is all the stuff that we've blown up into being a more important, even if there is a such thing as a rapture, how important is it to us walking around? Because it's either going to happen or it's not. Either way, if it does, cool. I mean, there's not much I can do about it. It's not within my choice. It's not relevant to my day-to-day life.
Actually, think about it, you know, just all of a sudden I was just going to be born naked. Just one day.
What's the downside of this?
You can think about
You're
it.
not going to have the genitals anymore because you.
I find that to be just what? No, right? No, I'm attached to that. Anyways, hell. I mean, how much does hell affect me nowadays? I don't live my life in fear of hell.
You don't?
No,
Why not?
because either I'm a good person or I'm not. If I behave like a good person, that's good for me and everybody around. Regardless of whether there's an eternal punishment for me, that doesn't matter on my day-to-day life.
Well, it sure does for zombies.
Well, when you think that God's an unreasonable ass, just like ready to barbecue you for any slip up, you live in a totally different way. And if you think that God is actually merciful and good. So
Yes.
having hell translated in sideways from other mythoses is really bad.
Well, that's an interesting point there. There is a lot of co-opting. And then, of course, later on, because we've already evoked Dante's Inferno, the ideas of what hell are ends up being completely and utterly described based on nothing. Based on nothing. Based on a burning pit outside of Jerusalem, where they burnt the trash. And that's what we built up out of.
This sucks. Really suck to be here for all eternity.
Homosexuality, of course, really has no effect on my life at all. What other people do, that's not my problem. That's not my thing. As long as they're not intentionally trying to hurt others.
Well, that's a translation issue too.
Yes, according to many people. Maybe let's just say, according to many people.
Okay.
Because like a lot of things, it depends on who you ask. I say it is. Many people do not. Many people take it exactly as it's translated now and what it means now. That's what they want to do. Yeah.
Well, they want
I
to
agree.
have somebody to like sacrifice to God that they think's unreasonable.
And it's interesting because this also gives us some personal responsibility. Our responsibility to our society. While our society is collapsing because of homosexuals, we have a bad guy to put it on.
Well, that shields money.
Well, we're not even get into money on this one.
The idea.
I reason why
We are in certain sense. We're like, greed? No, greed's good.
Now we've married God and money together.
biggest mistake, I think, one of the biggest mistakes I ever think we ever did was putting in God we trust. All because of communists. All because of communists.
Also, before that, there was also the Civil War where it was so epically sucking that they felt that basically it gets traced back to one minister writing the mint, the guy who controlled the mint, saying, you know, pagans are bad. Let's put in God we trust on the money so that nobody thinks that we're pagans when they go through our wreckage here.
And here's the
That's the opposite of loving your neighbor as yourself.
thing.
Quick, be a
Absolutely.
Sorry. Quick, we gotta put this on the money to piss people off. You
I'm
know.
gonna found a new religion. I'm going to found an entirely new religion. I'm going to call it Dickicism. And I like Judaism. Judaism is pretty cool, but Dickicism's better. Just be a dick. That's the one tenet. One tenet on it. Unfortunately, many Christians are going to sue for stealing their ideas. Anyways, what else do we have that we well, you mentioned money, but one of those things. What else have we blown up from it?
It's kind of like 1 Corinthians.
Wow! That is inappropriate. That is not okay. Wow. I meant what concepts have we taken and expanded upon.
So, like, the weird thing about 1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 11 that says homosexuality and effeminate.
Mm-hmm.
Effeminate didn't mean that they were female and acting. That meant that they were wanting to have sex with every female there was back in the day.
Gotcha. Well,
but we haven't blown it up. But that's one of the concepts that we're trying to fight against transgender people.
right. And the transgender thing is a little different. And you'll notice that trans doesn't get as much traction in the conversations that are going on right now with Christianity. It gets mentioned, and it's usually almost a throwaway. Yeah.
God doesn't make mistakes, so be it. I'm moving on to the next subject, but you're wrong,
Right.
I think.
And part of it is, believe it or not, part of its history, Jewish history on the idea of transgender is kind of interesting. Because in the minute, you can almost stop any transgender conversation in Christianity when they say, God never makes mistakes. And you look at them and you say the following. Some people are born with two sets of genitalia, one female, one male. They have an operation to fix that. Why is this any different? You've just vapor locked somebody. You vapor locked them, and the discussion is over. And that was part of the reason why the Jewish community has a lot less problem with trans, because it's not unheard of. It's actually not even that rare. We're only talking, what, 1 in 10,000? I think that's right. I mean, it's common enough that it happens. It's caught at birth nowadays, and it's corrected. There are some questions about the correcting, because you have to make a decision what is the correct gender for this child. That's always the problem. Yeah. That's why I think trans doesn't get quite the same traction in the conversation. Because either one, you got somebody who says, well, God doesn't make mistakes, I'm done with the conversation, or the next person who evokes the Jewish thought on it. And the conversation's still over because they've got nothing in response. And plus, I think the idea of trans is not. There's nothing specifically in the Bible that speaks against trans. You have to really work at least homosexuality. Translation issues aside, they can at least find the words, and they've got a boogeyman for that. So, but yeah, this gives us a bad guy. This used to be this is still one of our bad guys, which is another reason for the concept of it. Why it gets distilled down into just one person, this one being, is it gives us a bad guy to rally against. And the concept of the adversary was somebody who stands against you, or somebody who stands against God, or even just the other gods from the time period. That's too arbitrary. We want to be able to point, and modern society does it a lot. We want to be able to point to somebody and say, that is the bad guy. That is the person that we need to be against. And we all do this. We all do this, even when we don't think we're doing it. Sometimes we think we're being being reasonable and defensive. Well, Republicans are assholes. Hang on, I'm a Republican. I just believe in reforming my party. My party is not what it used to be. It should be what it used to be. I am an asshole. But that's a different side issue than what they're talking about. But people will use that as an example of those are the bad guys. In our society, those are the bad guys. On the flip side, the Democrats, those are the bad guys.
Those are the modern day tax collectors.
Yeah. The libertarians, those are the morons. And we take and we take and generalize that label, and those are our bad guys.
And
If
how
we're
do
on
we
this side,
love our enemies?
exactly.
We're good to them.
So we like to have an enemy. We like to have an enemy. In 1984, how many people have read 1984?
It's been a long time.
There's a couple of things in there that has always struck me about it. When you look at our society, people talk about things like, surveillance and things like that. And my favorite part is the fact that we've always been at war with Oceania.
Yeah.
We have
At war with who?
Oceania. It's
It was a made-up nation.
yeah. The thing about the rivalry, it only existed to keep everybody focused on having an enemy. See, we like to have an enemy. We like to have an enemy. The homosexuals, Satan, what have you, Democrats, Republicans, any number of things. We like to have an enemy. And we will find ways of making ourselves one. And that's what we did with this. We made ourselves one. We didn't even need it. There were plenty of people that could have been our enemy at the time period, but we made this one and kept it throughout. In fact, we're finally getting to the point that we have literally run this into the ground in society, in religious societies, so much that it's finally starting to lose its power. Things like the church lady from Saturday Night Live. Everybody remembers that skit. But everybody remembers that was also a parody of actual people. And when you start holding it up that much and people start to see themselves in the mirror, eventually realize it's stupid. So you eventually get over it. And we've started that with this. This is the concept that's kind of going away. Kind of. Oh, wow.
435?
No,
339.
3:39. So I got to fill another 20 minutes. Ads.
You can dance if you want to.
I got nothing. I don't dance. That's probably about DDR as close as I get to dance. And DDR is not dance. All right, so well, actually, I'll play others.
We play Hangman.
So what
Really or figuratively on the whiteboard?
we did it with Jesus. We've even translated Jesus into other things now. Well, white skin, blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus.
Tiny Renaissance Jesus. What?
What? What?
That's one of the conversations that I tried to have a couple weeks ago about, do we use the concept of God made us in our image, God made us in his image, so we make God in our image to make it more acceptable within our society. And since we're we're now getting worldwide communications and all that kind of stuff. So I wondered if atheists feel that as a turnoff because we're not accurate in depicting Jesus.
Well, I can't speak on behalf of atheists in any way, shape, or form. Some of the people I know, that's not the issue. Some people I know, that's not the issue. The issue is that I believe in some sort of sky daddy. Which I made fun of myself. This is what I believe. I believe the concept of God. I believe the concept of Jesus. That does not make what I believe less silly. It's just,
Well, I mean, as in when we make these outreach tools to reach the lost, we're making Jesus white, blonde hair, blue eyes, instead of
I don't think that's really, I think that's probably low on the list. I mean, the things I've talked about with some of my friends, that would be low on the list. Yeah, okay, then so you're accurate with the rest of it. But I'm more concerned about the fact that you hate all of these individuals over here. I'm more concerned about the fact that you seem to support the idea that these people are bad and they must be killed because they're a different religion. There are things or just the simple point. Okay, you got a book, and it's not particularly scientifically accurate in any way, shape, or form. You have no evidence of it. These are the more common things I hear on it. The rest of it kind of just becomes running gags. But the biggest point is usually, to be quite honest, the biggest point that I see is hypocrisy. The idea that we have a book that says we must support the poor, we must do this, we must do this, we must do this, and we do exactly the opposite. That is usually the biggest
stumbling block.
Yeah. And keep in mind, I am of the opinion of I do not try to convert others. I do not try to do any of these things. You know what? If that's their belief, that's their belief. If they look at what I'm doing, you know, that's kind of cool. That's great too. Go on, you know. Just a couple other another billion others going to join us. Those guys got 1.2 billion. You can join them too. That's fine. Whatever you want to do. That's the point to me. But yeah, but they're wrong. We're wrong, Sky Daddy. Well, they picked our Sky Daddy, but they changed him. Pretty certain they changed it because I'm pretty certain our book is right. Because their book can't be right. And we sound like squabbling children. And except for the problem is we're big and we have guns. You don't have 4-year-olds who are fighting swords to intensify the fight. Instead, we have full-grown people. I would be great. What we need is a Nerf war. I want to see AR-15s retrofitted with Nerf bullets. The winner is whoever's left standing. But you got to follow the rules. If you get hit, you got to fall out. Okay.
It's gotta be really dramatic. It'll be like
Entire armies outfitted with soccer balls. I got you. You did.
oh my gosh.
But yeah, I did.
Okay, maybe take laser tag because that's at least verifiable. You know.
So the thing that I've been watching is God's not dead, stuff like that, trying to figure out where we're going wrong. I almost, yeah.
I'll start with 2 items, and that's all I need on my list. So, love the Lord God with all your heart, soul, and mind, and with it, love thy neighbor as thyself. Boy, if you get those 2 things, you got the whole thing right.
And the weird thing is that the Pharisee who he was talking to said he wanted to, but shouldn't we justify ourselves doing this? And he's like, no, that comes from, it's like, you're not supposed to justify yourself. You're supposed to keep score.
Yes, who is more pious than the other one?
I'm more humble.
1,000 times more humble than that one. I love that song.
Wouldn't be like. I know that song by heart.
Yeah, it's one of those that you got better than the original. Anyways, so in answer to your question, I don't know that our evolutionary view of how we've done things when it comes to, Jesus was a motivation guy, Jesus now born perfectly alive. I don't think that's really part of the issue. The idea for some, keep in mind, there's just like saying Christian is Christian, it's saying atheist is atheist. I've known some atheists who were so obviously flaming anti-Christian that I wish they would just call themselves anti-Christians. I would be okay with this. Don't call yourself atheist because you believe in fairies. You're not an atheist now. Okay, if you believe in fairies, because you're believing in things that are just as valid as my beliefs, and I'm not going to make fun of your beliefs. But you can't tell me that you don't believe in any gods and believe in that. Then there is I'm going to call it a hipster atheist, which is because atheism is, to a degree, cool for certain groups. And you spot them really easy because they have the worst debates on why we're wrong. And usually they take the worst route. Then you have scientific atheists. These are folks who look at it and go, there is absolutely no evidence to support anything that you say. And I'm all right with that. There's nothing wrong with that because I'm involved in a faith, not a science. If they look at my faith and go, I don't see it, okay, that's fine. And then you've got what I'm going to call the factual atheist, which is okay, look, I'm looking at all the stuff you do, and I'm looking at your effects that you've had on society, and all of these things, and I can only come up with the conclusion that you're wrong. And again, I don't debate with them whether we're right or wrong, because as a culture, I think Christianity is wrong. I mean, I think what we do is wrong. I think what our goals seem to be, all of these things, are so completely missing the mark of our own texts. Yeah, it's hard for me sometimes to justify saying I'm Christian. And I've mentioned that here before. I typically don't call myself a Christian because I can't align myself. I'll call myself a believer in Christ. That's about it.
Because, it's like one of the words you said, goals. My mom's been trying to get me to do goals, and it's like, so what's your goal this week? To finish Acts. And she's like, but read Acts. And it's like, well, what goal do you want me to do?
Well, there's this part in the Bible where I think it's Paul, but I'm not sure because some of them sound like Paul, but aren't Paul. Who says that to even say you're going to go somewhere and make a profit, to basically a business plan where you present it as this is going to happen is just flat evil because you're assuming you know the future.
Mm-hmm.
And,
I think that's all.
Which is, oddly enough, as a business guy, I'm going to step forward. Because we have this thing that every business guy knows. Anybody who's been through it on their own business for more than a year or two learns something very important. There is a plan. The plan is based on assumptions. We quit with the idea that we can predict the future because we know something. We can't. We know we cannot.
What happens?
We are not prophets.
Yeah.
We may be looking for prophets, but we are not prophets.
We are not crazy.
So we go with the idea of, okay, we're going to make a plan, but our plan is based on, in order to use this section, is called assumptions. As long as these things are true, we're okay. If these things don't become true, well, here's our fallback. And if those things aren't true, we'll wing it. And that's what a lot of business is based around. And because there's a whole lot of anti-prophecy, there's a lot of anti-prophecy sentiment in the Bible. Because so many people, fortune tellers were considered to be evil in the Bible because what they really did was manipulate people. Which, there's some irony in there, but
I'll pass over now.
I'll pass on it for now, yeah.
Because you might want to take the whole lesson or whole afternoon.
Yeah, despite my
Continue with your point.
yes, my brain is going to die. Because my brain just went, I'm going to go write that now. See you later. Seriously, that's what happened last night. Is we're talking, the whole Lucifer showed up. Thing showed up. I'm like, in the back of my head, sort of processing.
We're doing this tomorrow.
I don't have time to prep for this,
It's 2 in the morning.
I didn't go to bed till pretty strong. Anyways, going back on topic somewhat.
Because we finished the topic and then we went back.
Oh, I didn't get to mention that just because we like to contrast like this. We're not the only culture or only religion with the concept of, for instance, the devil or demons or anything like that. We're by no means wrong. And of course, Islam has its concepts, which we have angels, they have jinn. Jinn are a little more interesting because jinns were evil. We have angels. Actually, we go by the biblical scriptures. Did you realize they had animal heads? Some of them, no.
6 sets of wings.
They're actually, in the term, surprisingly, only meant messenger of God. That's all it meant. For instance, there's a number of times where messenger of God is actually meaning God showed up. But in basically an avatar form, for lack of a better term. So the angels would have been terrifying things if you went by the creatures sent by God. On the other hand, if you went with the idea that they're just messenger, they could have been anybody. God said, "Hey, good job, Bob."
In most of the stories that they show up, when they're talking to somebody, the first thing the person does is fall to the ground and freak out, and then the angel's like, "No, don't do that."
The guest guy shows up with 6 wings and a hawk head.
Are we doing?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I would be
Where do you
terrified.
think it come from? Anyway,
God said, oh, God. Happens.
because for some reason, in that region, they all had very similar descriptions on what these things were like. And then for the Islamic version, you had the jinn, which we go with the modern day interpretation of angels as they were all good guys and they protect you from having accidents.
Except the ones with flaming swords.
Right. Or the ones that call trumpets, or the ones that, oh, wait. So what you're saying is actually kind of mean, aren't they? Jinn were also mean and nasty. In fact, there was only one good jinn, semi-good jinn, I should say. And basically their concept is kind of similar. They had the devil also. He had a specific name, and whose name I suddenly did not recall. It starts with I. I mean, the name should not start with I. No.
Ian
Robert.
Isaac.
Ivan.
No. Let me rephrase that. Foreign words should not start with I because it's almost impossible to pronounce them.
Ivan.
Because I never know how the I is supposed to. No, that's not the one I want. Allah is Satan and Muhammad is his prophet. That is obviously not the one I'm looking for.
No, it's not.
That's inaccurate.
Well, being that Allah is the Arabic word for God, it's kind of messed up.
The number of problems with that statement, with that one headline, is a lot. The rest of the page was amazingly bad. It was as bad as you can imagine. Because again, we found ourselves an enemy. They're wrong. We're right. Do you know their book was written 600 years after our book? It is a bad counterfeit. First, because obviously a counterfeit cannot exist without an original. Therefore, there's a wrong. There's actually there's a couple of fellows. No, never mind.
There's just certain people you just shouldn't even talk to. I mean, you just need to keep moving. It's not good for you. It's not good for them. They're not going to listen to you.
And they're going to enjoy the fun.
Yeah.
Iblis.
Ibris.
Iblis. Not Ibris.
Ibris.
I-B-L-I-S.
Ibris, the name of the artist.
No. Iblis. Not Idris. Good try, though. I don't know if he's bigger on the inside. I don't want to know. So, anyways, with this setup, the way it worked, and by the way, this actually gets lifted and thrown back into Christianity with some of the interpretations of the war in heaven. So, which basically boils down to Iblis came to Satan. Behold, we said to the angels, bow down to Adam. They bowed down except for Iblis. He was one of the jinns, in capital O, one of the jinns, and he broke the commandment of his Lord. It is we who created you and gave you shape. Then we bade the angels bow down to Adam, and they bowed down. Not so Iblis, he refused to be of those who bow down. What prevented thee from bowing down when I commanded thee? He said, I am better than he, referring to Adam. Thou didst create me from fire and him from clay. So basically the idea, their version of the devil or Satan, had a very specific origin point. And their guy actually is more specific. It's one guy. He's got a name. Unlike the various concepts. But they gave theirs a name. And basically boiled down to who is most of the God. Because God said that we were more important than the angels. And apparently they had a problem with that. The jinn versus angels, the jinn actually have free will. Angels don't have free will, except for when they do. There's a little contradiction on that. So what? Really? Yeah. Contradiction. Something about when you apply one term to a whole bunch of different things, it's a contradiction.
Because we are to judge the angels that said in the Bible, so they have free will too.
But anyways, next week, I'm hoping to talk Frank Kennedy from talking. I talked to him last week or yesterday. Maybe I can do it, maybe I can't. Frank Kennedy is is part of the Two Spirit Society. He's on board here for the Center of Wichita. He's been the president of the tribe. He's an anthropologist and sociologist. He's working on his master's in anthropology and actually getting his certification in museum studies. Blah, 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 blah. The cool guy. The interesting part is he is Native. He follows Native American traditions. And he has a really interesting viewpoint on gender. And the very first geek was him coming to speak. He did a whole thing on the idea of gender in other societies, other cultures, because the binary gender concept, male and female, there's nothing else, does not apply to all societies. And the fact actually doesn't even necessarily apply to our history, but that's a different subject. So if we get a chance, she'll be hopefully I get him convinced to show up next week to actually do this, to get it on film, because he is the best explanation ever of the idea of, well, one, why homosexuality isn't necessarily homosexuality the way we think of it. Why transgender is not necessarily transgender the way we think of it. It was really fascinating. It's really cool. There's a lot to be discussed there. But whether or not I get him, but we have a question. Because, so what?
Up in the air.
Kind of up in the air, because at the same time, this is where his student loans are supposed to hit, so he can get his museum sciences certification. And if that doesn't happen until the last minute, he may be busy on Sunday trying to get that done. He's only got 8 days to get that done. So if so, hopefully next week that's what happens. If not, then I've got a couple other. Well, we may do the boring topic that I was going to do originally, or may not. I don't know. But anyways, that's it. I guess that's all I got.